Well, once again, it's time, my friends, for another meet and greet. We're Southern Fried and nationwide, so hang on to your seat. Look around, here's what I found. I guess you'll never know what you'll see on the Southern Fried Podcast Show. Yeehaw!
Yeehaw!
Good morning.
Not
Oh.
Vietnam, but all across the Southland.
Yeah, good morning to you, Southern Fried Podcast, Cornbread Nation. We are here and we are going. Look at me go.
Not high stepping too much, but we are going. It's hump day, and we might feel like a couple of humps on the back of a camel today.
That's kind of where I'm at. I'm trying to get ready. Get ready for the storm that's coming and expect to lose power and expect this and expect that. So I'm fully expecting trees to hit my house. So I go out there and I fix them. I cut them down.
I am one with the wood.
Yeah.
One with the forest.
That would whoop my butt yesterday.
Now you feel like a gypsy in the forest. You're being ran out.
Oh my goodness!
We don't want you
here now. No, I'm still hopeful for a shift, and they're not really predicting one.
Well, they got a little bit of shift back west. I'd still say it's going to go east or west of you and me. It will still get a lot. I mean, the storm is wide, so it's going to be, but I don't think it's going to hit dead center. I think it's just shifting just enough. It's going to be one or the other. And I think it was looking like east of me. I think it's going to be this new model could be slightly west of Chattanooga. Well, but who knows?
Yeah, let's put it up on the screen there and just show people, give them an idea where it's at right now. This is a pretty good model here. That's where it's at now. It's just sitting down there, just a going, churning. Still, hadn't really come past that line there between Cuba and the Yucatan Peninsula, although they're predicting it to hit across there here very shortly. And that's when it's supposed to hit that stretch of warm Gulf water and shoot north.
Yeah, and I was reading about it. This storm is, although it's not going to be the Cat 5, this is a mean storm for two reasons. One is it's a wide storm, and they say that actually and there's a word for it, but it actually attaches somehow with that other storm, some of the circular motions of the wind and everything. It actually, and because it is going slower, it just picks up a lot of water, a lot of energy. And so it was already extended 140 miles from the center. It's going to go a lot wider. It's going to pick up speed. So it's going to be a lot of water and a lot of wind as it funnels up through between those two pressures. And it takes this weird track that it doesn't normally take. And anything can happen, but but even by the time it gets up to me, it's still going to be a tropical depression. Not storm, but still doing, lots of damage. So the state, the governor has already declared a state of emergency for the whole state of Georgia. So this is a different animal than we've seen in a while.
Yeah. And I'm going to pull this one up. There's not another one listed on here. Let's see. Let me read back up 10 and punt here. Let's see. There's just so much with this storm coming in. Number one, it's been one of the fastest developing hurricanes ever. I mean, because, a few days ago this time, you didn't even think about it, Then there was like, well, there might be one coming. Then all of a sudden, it's coming. And all the models on it are remarkably close to the same. They're all predicting this thing to do the same thing.
Which means because it's named Helene, it won't be. It won't do.
It's not I can't joke about it too much because after Michael, they're going to take around here. Everybody's taking it very, very seriously.
Well, I think everybody should. I'm just saying that predicting models and all that is not easy. I mean, there's always twists and turns to stuff,
Yeah, and I'm going through everything. I know 4 or 5 different sites here. Weather Channel, AccuWeather, and AccuWeather was actually the first to predict this, I think. Which AccuWeather's probably not. It's a big name out there, but I like AccuWeather, but all of them are kind of predicting the same thing. That's kind of scary too when they all say, "Okay."
Well, they do, but the spaghetti models, there are some variations. I mean, there's some that has it shifting once it gets up past Atlanta, taking a real hard turn left, or delaying and doing that once it hits up in the Carolina. So there are some different models. They're fairly close together, but again, that shift is very important. I mean, 100 miles either way is a big deal. It'll be bad for some, be worse for some, and better for others.
This
So,
might be a little better.
Those models.
Let's see, little old Miller County, right there.
Now, see, just last night they had that center. They had that center east of there. So these things, they're updating it constantly, and they've already shifted it west some. So
good, they shift it right on.
But within that model right there, that's one spaghetti, that's one strand. But there are tons of them, and so again, there's going to be a lot of damage. There's going to be a lot of people affected, but who? That's the question, because lots of things can happen, can make it start shifting.
As far as I'm concerned, this thing right here, it could shift way over here. As far as I'm concerned, it could shift.
Well, you remember that one that you remember that one that it come across Florida twice down there 2-3 years ago?
Oh yeah.
I mean, the thing did like a circle or something, came back across. I mean, they ended up, they didn't know where the thing was going.
They were like, "Oh, thank goodness it's gone. Oh crap, it's coming back."
Yeah, it turned back. I mean, like I said, it's really hard to predict.
But when you got you got a high pressure over here and you got a low pressure over there, and it's just making a road for this thing to go up. And then you got all this warm water down here. That's one of the things they talked about too. Now, I'm not a climate change. I know it's bad and all that stuff, but I'm just not. There's a lot of that stuff I don't buy into, because there's too many times when they figure out that it's naturally occurring. It's like the hole in the ozone. And
it's funny to go back and watch shows from the 70s and how they were trying to pump that information that the world was going to be gone in 10 years and the polar ice caps, everybody's going to be flooded. And, it's funny,
But this thing right here is tracking over all this warm water, and it's so deep, the warm water is. And that happens. And it's a naturally occurring thing here. It's one of the currents.
It's a hurricane. I mean, it's gonna feed off of that.
Yeah, it's gonna feed off that. So
I mean, there's nothing we can do about it. It is what it is. I mean,
that's like, we went out the other day. We filled up our gas jugs, and we went last night, filled the car up, and got a few supplies, and but there wasn't a jug of water to be found nowhere.
Down in Bainbridge, they're giving out sandbags. You can go pick up your sandbags down there in Bainbridge. A lot of talk about, well, it's a good thing we don't have a monkey farm down here.
Yeah, no doubt.
All the things we talked about, here
it comes.
Could be dead center of Bainbridge. You just don't know.
Yeah.
Because like God said, okay, here, I'm gonna let you see the scenario.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about this?
Yeah. What about this?
You prepared for this? There's a lot of questions that I'm wanting to ask some people about that, and I'm trying to get a hold of the right persons, but most of them in Bainbridge right now can't comment until the court case decision's headed down. Once it gets handed down, I've got a couple of things lined up.
I think I said we had an interview. I was waiting on you because you worked on it, but if you'd like, I don't think there's a problem. We'll go ahead and announce in our next, we have 2 interviews. We've mentioned in one of our shows, maybe 2, but Mitchell Horner will be 3rd district rep from up in my area. will
Yes.
be interviewing with us Sunday afternoon if all goes as planned. And he's good morning, Daniel. He's going to come back and anytime. He said he'd be glad to come on anytime. There's another podcast up this way that does mainly Catoosa County, I think, but he said he'd like to get on anything he can, and he likes that we're online and has a reach online. He realized that's an area that his message needs to get out. So Mitchell Horner, 3rd District Rep, will be on with us. And he has struggled as a small business owner. We talked about it. He said, well, I probably shouldn't talk about the small business. It's not in a good place right now. But that's the kind of thing we're dealing with. And then, Rob, you got one lined up for us Thursday, right? Storm notwithstanding.
Yes. Now, we have 2 scheduled dates to do this interview just in case, but they're pretty close together. It may be next week before we can get it done. We don't know. Storm depending, we're going to do this Thursday. It's with Stephanie Harity.
Harity.
She's running for commissioner against Steve Brock, and that's
the Bainbridge area, correct?
Yes, that's in the Bainbridge area, and we're going to really try to get her some time and let her speak her mind.
Yeah, she's got things to say.
Yes,
and we want to hear it.
Yes, and if let's hear it. She's running for it. Seems like I talked to her the other day. She's very well spoken. She's very intelligent. She don't mind answering questions, and she don't mind asking them.
And then we've got another one that will be within the next couple of weeks, hopefully. So we're lining them up.
Yeah.
And as election season gets deeper and deeper in, hopefully we can have several top interviews with folks. We'll just have to see how that goes. But I think as more and more people know what we're offering,
also,
and we're going to see that.
A verbal commitment from Gordon Rogers. This is the Flint River Keepers, and he's over that. And he is a very intelligent man, and very smart, very well spoken. And I tell you what, I am looking forward to that. Because the Flint River running down here through Southwest Georgia, it's a big deal, and it's a lot of people don't really want to take care of it too much. But this man here puts a lot of time and effort in to take care of the Flint, and I really want to have him on. I'm looking forward to that too.
Well, we appreciate, we think about everybody wants clean water. I mean, that's the struggle across the whole world. It's clean water. And, and they say, well, they can clean it. Well, it's harder and harder if you got it messed up and got things in there.
Yeah.
So a lot of expenditure, a lot of federal requirements, a lot of testing, ever since a lot of things came online in the early 70s with safety and EPA and for I'll say this, for all the people that want to crack on Richard Nixon, he made things safer for America. Then he made things better with signing in OSHA and different things that he did during his presidency. You got to give the man credit. I mean, he had some great ideas and great things going on too. Just complicate. It's a complicated situation. There's also that other side. By the way, Rob, we covered last night, but it's just a growing storm, no pun intended, in North Carolina. This lieutenant governor, his staff is quitting. He says he's gotten a law firm involved. He says he didn't say these things. He's going to fight it. People are abandoning him. It's down and dirty in North Carolina for that, for the governor spot, and it looks as though Republicans are going to lose that battle. You just don't know. It's up to the voters, but. It looks to me like a hit job, but I don't know. I don't know whether he did it or not,
Now, look, I'm a little bit behind on the times. I was focusing outside yesterday. What's going on with that?
Well, they said they went back 20 years. I think it's 20 years, and said that according to IP addresses and all this, that they have found that he supposedly posted on a pornographic site some things. And so they're using that as an attack on him. And he says it didn't happen. I told him to step down. He said, I'm not stepping down, and kept going. His staff was kind of abandoning him. the Republican committee in that area is about him. They've dried up some money. Trump had endorsed him, but they're sort of, everybody sort of pulled back from him. There's a few that have stood with him, but he's running against the Democrat. I can't think of his name. I want to say it's something Stein. May be wrong on that. I'm going by memory, but that's a toss up state. It still could go Trump, the state, but as far as the governor, they're really working on damaging him up. And I've not seen any proof, just a lot of accusations. But that's what happens in politics. And if they can just muddy the water long enough that he doesn't get elected, then they'll say job well done. But he's fighting for not only his political life but his character. And me and Chickbait were talking about it last night, and she even said, it sounds fishy. It sounds like a hit piece late in this election season. And if he did it, that's 20 years ago. Come out and admit that made some mistakes 20 years ago. Just get out in front of it. But he says he didn't do it. So you know what? If I'm not guilty, I'm gonna fight to the end. To defend my name and character. So I don't know. They don't like things he says. He's a very outspoken man of faith and a Christian, and he's been very vocal against certain issues like abortion and stuff. So they it's a target, and I don't know if he did or not. I have no clue. I'd say pray for the man. Because it's really
okay. Here's another way to look at that. In this country, you're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty,
except in politics or into the national media.
And then it's whoever screams the loudest. It's not about who's guilty and who's innocent. It's about who can make the most noise, and that's just we've gotten so far away from our values here.
Well, I was thinking, and this is why you have to be real careful with it. Remember the hit piece they did on, whether you liked him or not, the hit piece that I was CBS, Dan Rather. I mean, that's very historical. The hit piece they did on him and his military service, and supposedly had a document they were waving, and it was all made up, Rob. It was a total fake, and it really ruined Dan Rather's career. I mean, he's still out there doing interviews with music artists and stuff, but his national being at the front of the national media was over. I mean, or like the media that lied and said they were landing in war zones, and what was it? Peter Jennings that come out and said, well, we landed in a hell of bullets or whatever he said, and then they figure out, no, they talked to people as, pilot in a helicopter said, we were under no fire. It was a good landing, or they said they were force landed, they almost, fell out of the sky. All this lies. And then, and then it became a meme, well, I was there when, Napoleon came across Europe, it just totally his credibility.
Or the weather forecasters when they're out there and they're rocking in the wind and everything.
Oh yeah.
They're standing they're waist deep in water, and come to find out there's somebody walks behind them on the sidewalk. They're standing in a ditch.
I love those. The guy comes by and waves like, hey,
Yeah.
Photo bomb. Yeah. I love that stuff.
I do too. Yeah. But there again, it's lies. It's a lie.
It is a lie. So you gotta wait. You gotta let these things play out. But here we are, just a little over 40 days or whatever it is, and away. And there's hit pieces coming out. We did our new show, Southern Talk, which is again a merging of two shows. And we went a long time. We got into that. Our focus was North Carolina, and there was just so much good news out of there, and the election and different things that were going on. Not just him, but I found it fascinating. I found an article where they highlighted Wake County, which is that's one of the urban areas, and how that has swung, and just looking at the demographics in the state, and it's a tight race. It really is. But so a lot of news out of North Carolina, a lot of election news, and so we're with our Southern Talk. We'll cover wherever, but we did talk a lot about North Carolina, but not just politics. I've been kind of all over that state, Rob, and I talked about different things you can do there, the beauty of North Carolina. We had a good time with that. It's just it's a interesting state, but I've never been. I would like to go. Never. And I was thinking about it as how odd is this, Rob? I tied this together last night with North Carolina talk and hurricanes. How odd is it that we're talking hurricane and there's absolutely no mention of the Outer Banks, as a target.
Yeah.
Absolutely no talk. Charleston, think about it, that's normal. That's the normal track. Goes out to sea, then
Yeah.
hits the ocean side there of those south of North Carolina, and they're totally not in the view in this, and that's really odd. I just
I
found
bet
that.
they're happy about that.
Oh,
Though.
they're got to be happy, and it's. Imagine a lot of people say, "Let's head to the coast over there. Let's go take a vacation and get away from this thing." But I just found that to be odd.
That is kind of what I've been kicking around a little bit, heading somewhere else. But I don't think it's. We'll see. We'll see. Because I'll have to pack up the cats. Have you ever tried to put cats in a suitcase? That's gonna be a mess.
I got tickled last night. Chickbait said they were in the bunker, so to speak, with the cats, and then she was asking for prayer, and absolutely, it's scary, when you got tornado and hail and all that. And so they finally came out of the bunker, and she was coming to the chat, but she said, "I'll be out for a minute. The cats are letting me know they're hungry." So I said, I ain't had cats in over probably 25 years, maybe more. But I was like, okay, I get it. The dog, they can bring you the food bowl, they'll bark. I don't know. I said, what does your cats do to let you know they're hungry? What's the signal? It's like their little paws together, like chop, chop, pointing with a paw.
No, mine get right up underneath your feet everywhere you go. All right, it's time for food. It's time for food. It's time for food. I mean, and they know when it's feed time.
Yeah, and I love it that one of her has two names. One of them has two names. It's we got Chad, but you got Steve, but it's Cletus. And I said, I've got to call the other cat Cletus. I just love that name. That's a great name. It's like Chuck Norris. In fact,
Yeah.
Chuck Norris and Cletus would be a great team,
Well, I got Roscoe too.
And Roscoe, that would fit right in. Good Southern sounding names,
Yeah.
Well, that sounds like the start of a good story. Cletus and Roscoe and Chuck Norris were all walked in a bar,
Roscoe, Cletus, and Chuck Norris walked into a bar. Yeah,
Rob, I don't know if you remember. I talked to him yesterday, and he was there at the time. He's been at the plant for 43 years. But do you remember Mr. Ogles, Mr. Ricky Ogles, that worked over there cutting Geo when you worked there? Don't you work different shifts maybe than him, but Ricky Ogles. Anyway, pray for him this morning. His wife's been going through some health issues. She's in the hospital and got to go to rehab, and they just really been through it. So just remember the Ogles family. I think I enjoyed talking to him yesterday. I mean, he's been faithful to serve the Lord. He goes to a Church of God over here in the area and has been faithful to it. We just had a good talk yesterday. He came up to get some help for something, and you just never know what people are going through. And
you never know.
But you know what? He had his joy even through all that.
Yeah.
But I let Paul know. A couple people like me praying for him. That's people that we've known for. Oh my goodness! I mean, I've been there for almost 34 years, and I've known him ever since I've been there. So I didn't know his. I'm not going to say his age, but I did not know his age. I didn't know he was that much older than me, and I was like, wow, you've done great, man. You've done great.
Did he stay on Geo the whole time? Was it Ricky?
Yeah. I mean, kind of had that curly kind of hair. He kind of had longer hair, and he kind of shortened it up just a little bit. Oh, he's always laughing, always cutting up.
Okay. I probably know him, man.
I'm sure you had. He was always Geo.
Okay.
Well, I mean, he's been in the the Weave PM for many years, but back when you were there, it was all Geo.
Okay.
It's something about them Geo guys.
Well, we were all good looking, except for one or two.
That's not what I was thinking. I was thinking, it was a little bit of character. I'll say eclectic. Let me just say it that way. An eclectic group. It's something about, it'd be kind of like the guys that feed the boilers in the bottom of the ship. It's a brotherhood. They stay dirty because they're working hard. Nobody ever sees them because they've got them, in the way deep in the bowels of the ship, and they never get to see daylight. It's like it's like the cave workers, like coal miners,
Yeah.
and you get to see them every once in a while. They come out and they're trying to shield their eyes. They finally get to come out of the hole. That's when I think of geo guys. That's what I think of as people like you and Ricky and a few others. I only filled in over there every once in a while. I was never a full-time geo guy, so I can't claim that title.
If you were good enough at geo, you could come out of that hole anytime you wanted to, and I did. I did not live at geo. I got my job done and then some. And then I start looking around for what kind of trouble I could get in. That's why the later in the day, the worse I got.
You were on the plus side of production and out on the prowl.
Yeah, once I hit 100 cut, you're only required to get 80, or whatever it was at the time. And once I got to 100, I started looking around for what kind of trouble I could get into. And
like an alley cat, old tomcat.
Like an old tomcat. It's probably pretty close to it. I'm starting to eyeball. David's up there. It looks like he's about ready to fall asleep. I bet you I could walk around the other side of that heat set and come out right behind him up there. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, time to go.
Yeah. It just amazed me. I mean, he's been at the plant for 43 years. I mean, I knew it was longer than me, but I didn't know it was that much longer. I mean, almost a 10-year. It's like 9 years. I thought about that. I thought, man, when I showed up at the plant, and I've been there a long time. I mean, and I thought I was thinking that yesterday. I thought, and you were already here almost a decade when I showed up. So he's spent his work career mainly there, and he's always good for a laugh and a joke, and but he loves the Lord, and I appreciate that about him. He never wavers in his faith. That's the way it ought to be. That's the way it should be. The way it's supposed to be. So, yeah.
We got this storm coming in tomorrow, next day, whatever. And, it's, you can sit back there and you can say, oh my gosh, why are you doing it? Why is it coming? Why is it coming? Oh no. God's got this. Let him handle it. I'm not going to worry about it too much. You don't want to tempt the Lord thy God. If it looks like it's going to be bad or worse than what we're expecting, then we'll leave. We'll pack up the cats. We'll go, and I'll check on the fish when I get back.
Yeah, and I just think it has a lot of applications here. The storms of life, the physical storms of life, the emotional storms of life, the spiritual storms of life. There's that old saying, Rob, we're either just coming out of a storm, in a storm, or just going in a storm. And there's a lot of truth in that. I mean, certainly spiritually, but even, how often do we look at the weather and we go, oh, it's looking like it's going to be bad, or it may be tornadoes, or it may be hurricane, or it may be really severe straight line winds or hail. And, we don't go more than 2 or 3 weeks and we're talking about another storm. Well, that's kind of the way it is in our life. We go through these storms. Nobody likes them, but it does strengthen you in ways, and you grow in ways, and maybe we'll say even pushes us along in ways. Maybe it prods us to do something. I mean, like, you probably didn't really want to have to do tree work yesterday. And paying for it today, the hurricane's already affected you, and it's not even there yet.
Yeah, sucker. G and I have been traveling around a little bit, and we've been going down to a church in Weewahitchka.
Weewahitchka, I love that name.
Yes, I do too. I love saying Weewahitchka. But
it sounds like it should be a lake with a campground, the Weewahitchka campground and lake.
But we've been going down there. Now, this is close to Port St. Joe down in Florida. And this is in line with this too. And it's not that far away from it. It's a pretty good ride from here, but I think they're about 20, 30 minutes away from the coast. And I think they got hit pretty hard in one of these storms recently too. Yeah. And this one looks like it's going almost straight toward them. And, you want to say some prayers for them too, for their safety, and those that need to get out, and, and those that need a place to go and whatever. I mean, we want to keep them in our prayers because, that's pretty close for where one of these things hits. And that's with storm surge comes in with high tide, I mean, you're talking. It could.
They're saying it could be a
far.
15-foot wall of water. As it pushes in. That ain't nothing to play with.
Good.
No.
So we're keeping them in our prayers, and for all y'all down there, just know, and you got some prayers coming from this way too. So.
And Chitbait said to tell you hi this morning, and she's praying for all the people in the path of the storm. So we appreciate that.
Thank you.
We appreciate that. Yeah. She did I did talk to her, and so I was trying to go get a cup of coffee, but she said, you know what I did? I went and got some coffee for the home. So I said, that's good.
Yeah.
Got her some coffee for the home. So, she'll think about Southern Fried whenever she's drinking her coffee.
Now, I've got to ask you.
I've
got to ask you this question here.
Okay.
You've got this little thing under your name, the Morning Muse.
Yeah.
Now, the Muses, from my understanding, were female.
Yeah.
And from watching Disney's Hercules, they were female and they were pretty. So you're failing out on two of those.
You know what? I'm a myth buster. That was my job in life. to blow up myths and traditional thought processes, so.
So while you're not identifying as a woman, obviously.
Well, no.
You're identifying
I'm in a reflective mode. It's morning, I'm amusing myself.
You're amusing me too, and that's a good thing.
Well, you needed it this morning, so I have no idea why I put that. I actually started to put nothing, and I said, the Morning Muse. It just came to me, and I said, I'm going with it.
You're hurting me. You don't make me laugh.
We do not want to be totally predictable at the Southern Fried, except, things of faith and family and all that. But I was telling, I was thinking about two things. Number one was, you was talking about the potential, our interview person who said they stalked us and came and checked us out first, I imagine we've had a lot of people stalking us as they've heard about who are these people and what are they about.
Oh, that's great though.
And it's really hard to label us. I mean, I've had people say, what are you trying to accomplish? What is the main mission? I'm like, have fun. We're having a ball, and we try to just have good, clean fun. And, but along with that, we have our faith, we give back into our community. We like to talk about news, but where else do you go get to talk about cryptids every day or, Jesus Christ? I mean, it's, we have a wide range of thoughts.
That would be a show right there. Cryptids and Jesus Christ.
we get at least a few looks like, what in the world is this live?
You know what people coming from all over. You one day, Dave? You know what he's going to tell you?
What's that?
What about the chupacabra, Dave?
No, you got to do this. You got to do the chupacabra in Sling Blade's voice.
What about the chupacabra, Dave? The chupacabra.
I love it. Oh my goodness! You sound like a guy. Well, you didn't nail it as much this morning, but what you did sound like was like you're like in a blues area, and there's an old blues guy sitting on the street playing guitar. It's what it sounded like to me, or outside of a blues club or a jazz club.
There's a special song I got for y'all this morning.
Yeah.
It's called the Chupacabra.
And if I had to pin a movie down, it's Roadhouse. Remember when he gets the call and he takes the car and he just leaves it on the side of the street, and the guy says, "Hey, you can't park there," and he says, "It's yours."
Yeah.
He tosses him the keys.
Yeah.
You sound like that guy right there. That's what that sounded like.
I'll go with that.
The guy was like, "Thanks." I love it. Well, it's hard for you to have normal voice this morning. I mean, you're broken down. I mean,
I am this morning. I am hurting. Y'all just don't know.
Rob's in traction this morning, so it's kind of hard for him to be the normal Rob.
I could feel my age this morning. That is for sure. I mean, if this is what it feels like when I get to be Dave's age, that's going to be bad. Oh my goodness.
You're in trouble.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, getting old ain't for the young. That's for sure. They can't have.
No, and it's not for the weak at heart. Oh man.
Go out there.
I ended up having to do a tour yesterday. This is funny. I haven't really talked to you, but we had a bunch of high schoolers coming in from Ridgeland High School yesterday, do a robotics team come to do a tour. And, I'm a manager there. So, they were asked, sort of, they didn't say everybody had to go. They kind of had some people, but, it was because it was about 20 folks altogether, counting teachers and all. And, just making sure you have enough people as you walk them through. So I showed up that morning just to really trail along behind and just, help them out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I helped them out all right. They handed me the baton like I'm leading the tour. How did I get into this? But it was great. They're a great bunch of kids, but they asked great questions. Like, has anybody ever died here? Or they didn't say it quite that way, but that's what they were asking. Or, do the robots ever just go crazy? It's funny when it's on the
term for what happened to you yesterday. There really is.
Oh, I know.
All right, let's hear your word.
And it's not Muse.
No, it's not. But it's sucker.
Sucker. That's the word I had. Sucker. I like. Hold on. And all these managers, they got to be like, yeah, you're the new manager. We're going to use it. But I did get a couple managers to talk because we went to one's area. He said, I'll walk, you talk. I was like, well, when we get to your area, you're going to have to talk because you know more about it than me. But y'all went through a lot of changes. He did a great job. I got one, she sort of walked up right as we were in her area. And I said, hey, would you like to address the group? And she's like, I don't know. And got her to do it. And she said, you put me on the spot. And I said, but you did such a great job.
There you go.
That's one thing about it. If they drop the bomb on you, that gives you the baton to pass to others at times.
Yes.
And if you do it when they're in front of people, what are they going to do? Like say no?
Yeah. I mean, like if they ask you some really oddball question, like how many people have died in this plant since you've been here? Well, I'm glad you asked that question. Let me, here's so-and-so. They can answer this question for you in a lot more proficient manner than I can. And they're like,
exactly.
If you could ever make the other people go, you win. Just don't do it to anybody that outranks you.
No, you don't want to do that. There are limitations to this.
Yeah.
We had a good time. They enjoyed it. It was funny. I was talking to them before, and me, I got the gift of gab, so I was talking to them, and I was asking me anybody play sports. It's a robotics team, but two of the guys raised their hand. One guy said he was my favorite kid, and I'll tell you why in a second. But he said, "Yeah, I play some baseball." He was kind of outspoken little kid, And one other kid raised his hand, and I said, "Oh, well, did somebody else raise their hand?" He goes, "Yeah." And I said, "Well, what do you play?" So I play soccer. And the first kid goes, "Man, that's weak. Like, come on, man. That's not manly." He said, "All you do is go around and get kicked in the cankles. I mean, come on." And it killed me, man. I'm like, and what is anybody going to say? It's the funniest thing. So then I said, I said, how's school going? And I said, well, we're out of school right now. And it was like, yeah, and the first kid said, and we get, he said, I got to pick, we get to go to Golden Corral. So when we came back and we're in the room, they had these questions, different people asking. Anybody said, anybody got any more questions? It was kind of that awkward silence, and I said, well, I know one in here, he's ready to get to Golden Corral. He said, yes, they were ready to roll. But it's fun when you go back and you think about yourself in school time. And
wait a minute. Are you telling me that one of the kids on the robotics team or whatever called somebody else basically a nerd?
He did. I mean, kind of, sort of. I mean, if you think about it like that, I was like, wow.
He's right. Don't worry. Don't worry. I think he's right. That's weak because all they do is run around, kick each other in the cankles. I understand that, but you're on the robotics team. Now, you might be cool out there on the baseball team, but when you're going around with the robotics team, you're just with your fellow nerds.
Well, they were talking about building the battle bots and all that stuff, so they're all into that kind of thing.
Nerds.
Say that on the air, but
don't get me wrong. I love nerds. I am a nerd, kind of. I still play computer games, stuff like that. I'm a nerd, and I will freely admit it. It doesn't bother me. Of course, I'm old, but you young guys, though. Let me take my hat off to you and give you a great big salute. I mean, whatever. I mean, you're supposed to salute with the hat on, but give you a great old big salute because that takes. I can respect that. I got that.
They were a fun group, and they're good kids.
It sounds like it. I'd have had a ball with that too. I'd have called him out on it.
It's one of those things I wish that I would have had time to really sit down with them and talk. I think it'd been fun, because everybody didn't speak up. It's got to be a little bit intimidating coming in a plant, bunch of old geezers like me, I mean, it's a way to touch high schoolers for your company and for them to see what you do and utilize those next gen skills because it's a different world nowadays.
It is
a way different world.
There's a lot of the jobs that we had back then that they don't have anymore because they've replaced it.
They don't, and you've got to, there's other jobs, but the manual labor jobs, a lot of them are going away in manufacturing. So, but yeah. But it was fun. It's fun. I just didn't know I was going to do the tour. I went to be the helper. It's kind of like when, again, I think it's like paying your dues. Like you show up and they're like, oh, Dave's here. Dave's the leader. We anoint you, sir.
Yes. Just take this. Dave.
They all turned on me, dude. It was like a group effort. Like,
oh, dude.
It was like, thank God Cordell's here. Yes, you're anointed. I was like, wait a minute. Okay, I see how this goes.
Oh,
you got me this time.
And you've got to do good on it, kind of. And
I had a corporate guy with us too. I'm like, oh yeah.
And you can't say, no, I don't want to.
Yeah,
you can't say, no, I don't want to.
I've already, the plant manager's already seen me. We got corporate guys. You're like, oh, okay, I'm going to have to do this. And I don't really mind. I don't mind doing a tour. It's just that I didn't know the path we were going to take. And of course, the manager said, that's what he said. I'll walk it. I'll lead it. You talk it. I'm like, okay, I see how you are.
Yeah.
And of course, we got headphones on, and it's like this morning talking, but it's a big group, and you're trying to. I was like, oh, nobody got hurt. Nobody, nobody had anything bad
that you know of. I mean, there could be some mental scars and emotional train wrecks and stuff like that, but as far as no one got physically hurt. That's a good thing.
That's a good
emotional and mental scars will last a lifetime, I'm sure. But what happened to you? Well, when I was in high school, I went on this tour at this place, and this guy, we go and call him Dave.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm sure. They've got some sort of banner about that. You
gotta quit making me laugh. It hurts, dude. It hurts. Oh, I think I know what's on my agenda for today.
Icy hot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I'd be. You're going to be locked up, Thanks for everybody being in here. A couple of things I do want to mention because this hour is flying by. Tonight is our Humpday news, SFP Humpday news, always a little wild and crazy. We look at wild news every show this week. Hurricane updates. We'll be looking at that a little bit to get a little closer. We'll start seeing how things are doing. We're
tonight we'll have a little bit better idea too.
Yeah, we're going to get in our plane and we're going to fly to the eye of the storm and get us some good, some pictures today. We're going to send up the rest of the crew, Rob. Chris is the mad scientist is going to fly to the eye of the storm.
No. Let me put this way. You said we are going to. All right, number one, I'm not flying into the eye of a hurricane. I'm not doing it. Okay. And number two, I'm not flying with you.
Why not?
Because I don't know how to fly, and you'd be the pilot. I ain't doing it.
Well, I didn't say we. We as a corporation. We as
I'm not flying with Chris driving the plane either.
Well, Cook's the driver. He showed us that in Walmart, man. He's running over people.
No, dude.
We'll end up in Dallas.
Look. How are you going to fly into the eye of a hurricane when the plane's leaning to one side? It's going to blow you plumb up. You'll never get there. No, we're not doing that. Cook's a big old boy. I love Cook to death. And all of that's muscle. But I ain't doing it. Nope. No.
Not gonna happen.
No.
What was it?
No.
Dana
right. So now if you want to correct that statement, and be something like, yeah, we're gonna talk to people that have talked to some other people that flew into the eye of the hurricane. That'd be fine. We'll do that. Got some readings, and
we're gonna send some of our crew up to the to the eye of the storm. We need first 10 pictures. Warm up the jet. The AWACS. We're gonna go get some data. It's safe in the eye of the storm,
dude. It's getting there. Yeah.
Well, you fly above.
You made it sound like we have a bat cave. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, we do. You just don't know the resources we have.
No. Yeah, I do.
We've got roving reporters all over the place, literally roving from Nevada to Fordo.
From Nevada. Oh, we got to have them back on. We got to.
Yeah, I think they just celebrated some sort of anniversary or something. I seen my sister posting something.
Anniversary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Frank's got his car back. He's happy. He's,
they seem like they're very happy together. I enjoy having them on.
Yeah, they are.
Sister's just a ray of sunshine. Well, both of them are, but we can't get Tammy to come on here. She comes in here and chats with us.
She camera shy. But she's a hoot. Tammy, me and Heather, we do cut up and go on. But me and Tammy, it's laugh central when we get together. We're always laughing about something,
Yeah, it's kind of like us. We're always laughing about something.
Not to say we see eye to eye on everything, but we've done a lot of trips together and stuff, and we laugh at the same things. We will have a fun time whenever we're together. We will.
Yeah. That's kind of like me. I'm going to have a fun time if I have to shoot somebody in the foot. Don't make me do it. I'll do it, and I'll laugh too. What was that? The thing about make them dance with the guns. You see that in the Western?
Yeah.
Oh, here, dance for me. That always winds up bad for the guy making the other guy dance. It always seems to wind up bad for him. And
yeah,
I wonder why they kept doing that, huh?
I said it's not good. Well, it made for good TV.
Yeah. Okay. I imagine someone had me hopping and skipping like that out there. Yeah, I'd be waiting for them to run out of bullets.
That was the in a way, in a strange kind of way, that was the old Western days. That was their version of what was the dude that would come in and dance before the jester, or what was that?
Yeah, the jester.
The jesters would come in, and if you didn't make them laugh, you could be killed.
Yeah.
You had to be funny. You had to be good. You could not have a bad day as a jester. You'd be dead.
Yeah. And maybe
away with him,
away with his head.
Yeah.
They go up there shooting at their feet. and he'd say, "Dance for me, monkey, dance, dance, dance," whatever. You know, that's probably where Cotton Eye Joe dance came from.
I don't know. There's a Cotton Eye Joe's in Knoxville, Tennessee. I've always thought, man, Knoxville and that name, that has got to be a wild place.
It wasn't that wild when Jenny and I went. So
okay, so you've been there?
Yeah.
Well, now you told me all I need to know. You went, so I think I was kind of on track.
We didn't cause no trouble, and I've only went there once. You know, they had a bowl.
Well, it doesn't mean there has to be trouble. It's just, you know.
Yeah.
Was you dancing?
No. Let me. Well, we probably did slow dance. I'm not a dancer. I got 2 left club feet or something. I'm not you got to have rhythm for that, and I don't have that. Look, this is my strong point: talking and fishing. Yeah. That's it. Okay.
So you're not the tiny dancer. You're
no. Hold me close, time. I thought they said Tony Danza for a long time.
We need to get for one of our shows. We need to look up
some of those
songs that people have, you know, sung it wrong. I think that'd be funny. You know.
Well, you know, think about it. I mean, hold me closer, Tony Danza. You know.
Oh man.
Just
man,
saying.
oh man.
You know, and back then, you know, Tony Danza was really big. You know, he was in several shows. Everybody knew who Tony
he was. You know, he kind of fell off the landscape. You know, after a while.
Yeah. And who was the guy? Do you remember the TV show BJ and the Bear?
Oh yeah, very much so.
I used to love BJ and the Bear now.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
And for those of you who never or have never even heard of BJ and the Bear, I can't remember the guy that played BJ.
I don't either.
But he was a trucker.
Yeah.
He drove his big semi, and he had his monkey that rode around with him. That was the Bear. It was funny.
We need a meme of that. If we could pull that and make a meme and have the monkey saying to the BJ, have you heard they're trying to put a monkey farm in Bainbridge? And like they're on the way, like, well, no, let's go join forces with those against that. Because, you know, the monkey said, we got to go to Bainbridge. You know, that would be great. That would be great. I'm going to see if I can't find that. That would be great. We'll send that to the group.
You know, and see, they have romanticized this so much, a lot of places, or a lot of, oh, sorry, that was horrible. I didn't sleep much last night. I'm hurting, and I'm sorry. Every Which Way But Loose, you know, they had Clyde.
Yeah.
And they romanticize, you know, keeping these monkeys, which are an orangutan. Okay. Number one, orangutans are just cool. And number two, his name was Clyde. You know, I mean, come on. That was cool. I'm going to give it that. You know, the whole right turn, Clyde. Yeah.
That scene where he comes out and he acts like he shoots him and he falls flat on the top of that barrel.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, my God. First time I saw that, I was rolling. Like, that's the funniest thing.
When he kissed his mama.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry, but she stole that whole movie with that one scene where all the bikers were tearing up her yard and pulling her porch down. She comes out with the shotgun.
The whole time she's griping, they leave an old lady alone, defenseless, you know.
Poor helpless old woman out here. Take care of myself. Ain't got nobody to protect.
And then she's got a mouth like a sailor, you know, the whole time, you know.
And in the second one, where she meets the old guy that runs the motel,
yeah,
and he's having like this daydream, and it's got, you know, Bo Derek from 10 running up the beach and got her face on it. Oh my God.
I think when they made that movie, there were a lot of drunk scenes that just became scenes because they had to be drunk to make some of this. I don't know how they kept a straight face.
Dude. They were hilarious. Yeah, and I'm so glad they put them in.
And the whole gang, the motorcycle gang, those guys were funny,
Yeah.
trying to act tough, and they'd always, and then
No,
they lost all their hair. I mean, and it's they got wigs.
what was it? They got the
Oh
cop pulled
man,
them over at the end, and they're walking up past them as two cops. And they're kind of snickering under their breath, trying to hold the laughter in.
yeah,
And the leader was like, "Well, I guess you're going to have to write us some tickets in." They're like, "Don't hardly
no,
have the heart to. You give us them tickets. We broke
yeah.
the law." He
They,
said, "Look, you've all broken all the laws of nature, but we don't enforce them laws."
the Black Widows, what they're called, the Black
Yes,
Widows.
the Black Widows.
They're trying to be mean and menacing and all that.
They done got their butts whooped from one end of
Oh
to
man,
the other. They
some things
were,
are just satisfying. It's like the scene in Smoking the Bandit when Jerry Reed just runs over all the motorcycles.
yeah,
Everybody felt that scene, felt like they were at the controls of that truck. They just kind of felt like
yes.
what that would feel like. That
Now
look
what?
he had in his face, right as he gets, it's like it hits him like, okay, got my butt whooped. Me and my dog got abused, but we fixing to get some payback. 80,000 pounds, baby.
What was his dog's name? Cletus?
Fred,
Fred, that's right.
Fred, get
Fred.
back in the truck.
Fred.
Got no time for this. We're
Come
going to be
on,
late. Fred, go for a swim. Get Fred a cheeseburger. He looking
Yeah.
kind of
Fred and I are just got us some cheeseburgers. We coming on.
Fred. Oh man, Jerry Reed's a treasure.
Yes.
I missed him.
Yeah.
I'm glad we have some things captured in video, music and acting. What a guy.
Yes.
He was perfect. I mean, absolutely perfect for the roles he played. Like this kind of a Southern cowboy kind of guy, but he could. I mean, who else could play the trucker like him?
No.
And the fact that he was, such a good singer and picker and all that. I mean, just amazing. He had that look and he had that voice and he had, humor.
And Jackie Gleason as the sheriff in that.
Well, it was perfect casting. I don't know how they, there were other people considered, when he got that. And I thought, I can't imagine that movie with them people.
Yeah. You dab blind scum buckets.
I mean, even, Junior. I mean, just everybody, the role player, the role players were fantastic. I mean,
when we get home, the first thing I'm going to do is slap your mama right in the face because there ain't no way you came from my loins.
Put the evidence in the car. The one where the guys, the officers chewing him out for his car being in such a shape.
Yeah.
And he's, hold on. He climbs out of that car, spit flying out of his mouth.
I'm in hot pursuit.
I'm an officer of
Oh,
the law. I've been across 3 states.
In hot
man.
pursuit.
Hot pursuit.
It's
And then the scene where him and Bert ends up at the same restaurant.
Oh yeah.
He's hollering at Junior outside. Do you want something? I got no time.
Let me get that for you, officer.
Oh yeah. And he runs out and she's got the car.
And then there at the end said, this is the bandit. I've got the utmost respect for you, Sheriff. You have followed me all the way from Texas to here.
Yeah.
He was like, well, just tell me where you at. And he started to make up someplace. He said, no, I got too much respect for you. Look over your left shoulder.
We're on our way to Boston to get clam chowder.
We're going to Boston for some clam chowder.
Which wasn't it? I know they had to come up with this scenario. When they did the Smoking Bandit 2, there was some funny things. It wasn't as good. They did some funny things.
Yeah.
But I know they're trying to change it up. I wanted to see that trip. it's like I wanted to see it picked up from there. Go to
Yeah.
Boston. I was like, well, they could have made great scenes out of that, running around Boston, the New Englanders. That would have been hilarious.
It would have been.
I thought they missed it. And they made him in like he's this whole interplay about it had good parts, but it just never really quite came together. And the third one was Snowman gets to be the bandit. It was bad. They're just trying to make some bucks at that point. It was bad.
Yeah. But that was the same point in time where Cannonball Run came out too. And that was a good one.
Yeah. Burt Reynolds, he hit on a model there for a while, and he was the biggest star in the land.
Yeah.
As far as action movies and funny, and I mean, he was making probably more than anybody at one point. It was probably about a 4 or 5 year span. It was his heyday.
Well, Dave, it's 7:00.
Yep, got to go to work. Got to drop some kids off at school and head to work.
That's right. I'm gonna see if I can get this outro right today.
Good deal. See you tonight. Humpday News.
Y'all have a
great day.
Salute.
Salute to you.
Well, once again, it's time, my friends, for another meet and greet. We're Southern Fried and nationwide, so hang on to your seat. Look around, here's what I found. I guess you'll never know what you'll see on the Southern Fried Podcast.